everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. Oh wow, this one. I will explain, I will get into it when I begin the review, but damn, I don't know if I had hopes for this one. If you have been following my channel for a while now, then you will know that I absolutely love horror. I love thriller. Horror is my favorite genre, and I especially love thriller movies. And I have very, 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 very high standards and I guess specific taste. And if a film does not meet those, but anyway, enough of me talking, let's do the review. The Hole in the Ground is a 2019 Irish horror thriller film directed by Lee Cronin and written by Cronin and Stephen Shields. The story follows a young woman who begins to suspect that her son's disturbing behavior is linked to a mysterious sinkhole. It took me over a week to watch this film. I've never had it take me so long to watch a 90-minute movie. Every time I'd start to watch it, I'd find myself overcome with such boredom that I'd be compelled to turn it off and put on something else, or I was trying to resist the urge to go to sleep. That's not to say I have nothing positive to say about this film, but if I'm serious, which I always am, this is one of the most boring horror thriller films I have ever seen. For me, if a film is going to be a thriller, it should be thrilling. I want it to grip me and have me hanging on every moment, eager for more. If I've stopped and started you for a solid week before finally completing you, it's safe to say I don't find you thrilling. Horror films have always been a fantastic genre to serve as metaphors for various topics: domestic violence, STDs, inequality, racism, sexism, etc. But no metaphor topic is more popular, especially in our current era, than that of mental illness, and frankly, I'm sick of it. Horror films used to be far more subtle with their metaphors, meaning the audience could easily take it at face value and see it as an enjoyable, hopefully, addition to the genre, or they can peel back the layers and see what meanings and inspirations lay beneath the surface. In a lot of today's horror films, I'm finding the message or metaphors are blatantly hitting you over the head, and they're unmistakable. I am unsure if this is because they care more about pushing these narratives, or if it's because they think if they choose to be subtle, the audience will be too stupid to understand. I'm an avid horror lover and watcher, and watch roughly 200 to 250 horror movies a year. That's a legit number because I counted. And in the last couple of years, I'm finding more and more horror films are not so subtly using the issue of mental illness as the main focus of their storyline. Aside from feeling repetitive on a personal level, I find it off-putting. While I'm sure many people will disagree and view this as fantastic ways of bringing the subject of mental health into the light, I don't see it that way. For starters, most of them depict mentally unstable people going around killing people, and most of us with mental health issues typically keep to ourselves, so it's hardly an accurate depiction, nor is it a helpful one. But speaking for myself, I initially gravitated to the horror genre because it was an escape from the issues in my life. It was a release. Whether the films were good or bad, for a brief moment I am distracted from the chaos in my life, including my mental health. So when I'm suddenly watching a film waiting for something to distract me and captivate me, and instead I get a film like this which confronts me with the realities of my life, which I'm trying to avoid, I become both disappointed and irritated. Naturally, one would say, well, don't watch it, but you don't know this is what you're in for until you start watching it. The Hole in the Ground on the surface follows the much used Changeling story, and if we're looking at that, I don't feel it brought anything new or exciting to that creature story. That element is very generic and was no different from an episode of Supernatural that covered the same creature. On the flip side, it's one of those films where even when you're seeing very real things happening on the screen, there has been enough smaller elements included that have me continue to ask myself, is this really happening, or a figment of the mother's fractured psyche? The film reminds me quite a bit of The Babadook, another popular horror movie that bored me to death. Both stories center around a single mother and her son, and the mothers are overcoming trauma. For Amelia in The Babadook, it was the death of her husband. For Sarah in this film, it's that she is trying to escape an abusive husband. So both have supernatural themes, but the supernatural themes are weighed down by the stories focusing on the metaphorical themes. They feel so overpowering and not remotely subtle that it makes me wonder, what's the point on having supernatural elements at all when at the end of the day they come off as so insignificant? Looking at positives, which there are, I found the filming style and the cinematography was quite fantastic. The opening wide shot that showed the characters driving down this open road with nothing but greenery on either side, and then slowly turn the image upside down, I thought was absolutely brilliant. It was disorienting, but in a good way, and just amazing to watch, and really gave the film this feeling of impending dread, which I loved. Sadly, the dread never came. They had similar wide shots throughout the film, and I loved each just as much as the last. I found Tom Commerfeld's cinematography more powerful and thrilling than anything the script had to offer, and I don't think I've ever said that about a film before. Another positive is the performances, which were outstanding. Shiana Kerslake, I'm sorry, I know she's Irish, so I'm sure that I'm pronouncing that name wrong. She plays Mother Sarah, and she does a tremendous job. She sells the mother struggling to hold it together even if she's not doing anything. The look on her face says it all. It says this woman is fighting a war inside herself and we're not sure which side will win. She's brilliant to watch. While I wasn't nearly as enamored by James Quinn Markey's performance, who plays young son Chris, I didn't find the character all that unique or exciting, but I do commend the performance. To be one so young and be able to depict such subtle character changes enough to discern who is who was quite the accomplishment, and he pulls them off entirely. I think he was able to balance out the shifts in personality and make them work and make the audience question if he was Chris or not. While I can praise how this movie was filmed and the performances until the cows come home, a film's main selling point is its story, and when it comes to that, I was painfully underwhelmed. If there is a level below underwhelmed, that's where I was. I just wanted it to be over. I just wanted to get to the point. I just wanted to know if she was sane or not. I had zero interest in the characters, and there was not enough established in them to give me something to root for. Frankly, I'd reached a point where I thought to myself, if they all died, I wouldn't care. I should have felt something for these characters, and all I felt was boredom. So while there is excellent technical work put into this film, it is a boring slog of a film with only 3 moments that made me jump to attention, but just for the simple reason that they were so out of the blue. Had it not been for that, I wouldn't have even blinked, mostly because I'd have fallen asleep. It was a good effort, but this is in no way a horror thriller I would ever go back to unless I was having trouble sleeping. So that's all I have to say on the hole in the ground. I feel bad, and I have no idea how to pronounce the actress's name because I've never come across that name before, and she is Irish, so it's obviously an Irish name. I was thinking it's maybe pronounced similar to how you'd pronounce Siobhan, because people look at Siobhan and think you say Siobhan, and it's pronounced Siobhan. So if you know how to pronounce her name, please write it down phonetically in the comment section for me so I actually know for the future. But because I don't like it when I pronounce things wrong. I don't. My English teachers would be so disappointed with me. Pronunciation was always my best skill, even in Indonesian class. So, that's all I have to say for today. If you have seen this or want to see it, please comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are, the usual gig. And until next time, bye.